been crazy. I just transferred $50 over for Faith. It said that it went through, but I think maybe yesterday, maybe Ronnie's didn't go through because it was a holiday yesterday in your country. It said.
Yeah, it was.
So maybe that's why it didn't go through. I'll after we're done talking, I'll ask her to try it again. Although it said that it went through last night, and then after a little bit of time, then it came back and said it was canceled. So for Ronnie, so that's why I wanted to send it before I phoned you because just in case I get that, I want you to know. But I think maybe it was because there was a a bank holiday. So I'll let her know. So $50. It says it's ready for pickup. $50 for Faith. So 25 for. I think we'll call it a sustainability fee if that's okay with you. What do you think?
Yeah, that's okay.
Okay, and then I decided to send you money for her phone instead of sending her a phone because by the time I send her phone, maybe you need, it could be too old. This way she's got a brand new phone with $25, you said, right?
Well, whatever you decided, or whatever you thought was good,
Okay.
it's not about the old things. It's just that we can get it here instead of waiting. It could get missing or whatever. So it's all good. Thank you very much on her behalf.
Well, $25, you said 25 would be good for a phone for her, so I sent enough money, right?
Yes.
Okay.
We're going to get her a phone. You certainly see the phone when she gets it.
Oh, I believe you. I'm just saying that I wanted to make sure I had enough money because I thought you said 25. So, and that gives you enough time to get her one before you see her on Saturday. Do you think?
Yeah. I'm going to try to get her one soon. Maybe latest Thursday.
Okay.
So when I go down to the meeting site, I'll hand it to her. She'll certainly be so excited.
I'm excited.
And we'll not have to call people to look for her. We'll just call her directly and she'll come.
Mm-hmm. And then how much money does it cost, like, for her to have internet, or if she, or phone service? Well, the $25 a month that I give her for incidentals, that should be enough to cover if she needs to add, like, top off her phone or anything.
Yeah, she could just get little money from the $25 to put credit in her phone just to make a call. But the phone we are buying is not an Android phone. We are just buying a small little phone that can help her have 2 SIM cards that we can call her, and receive text messages and also text.
Okay.
But if we are going to have an Android phone or a smartphone, it's going to be more expensive.
Okay. Well, as long as it's sufficient, right?
Yeah, that's okay for such a phone.
Okay. And then, so Florence, you decided to have her be next up. So I'm so glad Ronnie and Alex are going to do that. It's so exciting. Does she know yet?
Yeah, we are planning to give them a big surprise on Saturday. She really does not have a complete story of what it's going to look like. So we just told her to be present on Saturday. We told her to make sure she comes.
Now, will she be able to? Where will she be able to live? I mean, you said that she had escaped from where she was. So where is she now?
She's living with a friend. She's one little girl too somewhere.
Oh my gosh, are you kidding me?
Yeah, they stay like that. So I'm going to see how to get to where she is. But she's with one little girl. My husband knows the place.
Okay, is she safe there?
Yeah, she's safe.
Okay.
We just need to caution her so she's safe.
Okay. All right. So, we've got a lot going on. So I've been trying to just like prioritize a little bit because I think this week I can get through the website, get the promotions up for Florence and for Faith. And then I think there's something else. I don't know. But then I want to start figuring out, the banks. I got to talk to the bank. I got to go to the bank today, this week. So with the names of those banks that you gave me. And once we get that coordinated, then we can probably start with figuring out the fundraiser. So for the hair salon. But let me coordinate the bank, and I'm going to do that this week. So that's going to be that's going to be Thursday, because I got to go into another city in order to go to my bank. And I do a lot of different things out there. So I go to my chiropractor, go shopping and stuff like that. So that's on Thursday. So I'll let you know how that goes. So, and if I have to open up an account, I'm hoping I'll be able to open up the account and coordinate. But until I talk to the bank, I don't really know. I'm not going to assume anything. But I'll address that on Thursday. Let's see. What did I say? We had $271 for Jacqueline so far?
Oh, yes, you did. We're so excited. We're very, very excited to hear that.
I mean,
it came in.
Go ahead.
Was that very soon?
It came, Ronnie was upset that it wasn't more and that it took a week to get $271. I was like, that's awesome, because basically I think that covered her operation, and I think we had about $100 or $150 padded for like medication and a few other things, right? So, if necessary, I'm sure I could. She's sending it out in a newsletter to their department. So it's going to have a wider breadth of awareness, getting to a lot more people. I'm quite sure we'll get to our $400. She's hoping to get beyond the $400 so that she can then have that in a pot, so to speak, in the can, so that when one of the cohort members maybe gets sick or their children get sick, we'll be able to send monies for that. But, right now we want to, just get to that $400. So I would think that within a week or so we'll have that, which is exciting. And I think we need to tell Jacqueline that her operation is a definitive now. It's a definitive. It's now all it is we're just waiting for, exactly when. But I would say within the month she'll be, she needs to prepare herself for that, because I'm not sure what kind of recovery she'll have after that, But she'll need to prepare that, but that will definitely transpire. So that's awesome news. So very, very exciting.
It's really awesome. It's really wonderful to see. You don't know what to do. You're so frustrated with your health, and here comes some money for your health. It's just like a miracle. A miracle mean God should kind of do operate you without medicine. To me, it's a fat miracle. She didn't know that money was going to come. She just consulted. I was just like that, just thinking, just burning out. And here it is becoming a reality. So I'm so happy for her. Getting help is really a way forward. When she gets her help, she can get other things done.
Well, not only that, but even in the adversity of having a health issue, she still carried her resolve. She still trudged through, with just the hope that maybe someday she'll be able to take care of her health issue. So what great resolve, really, and determination and resiliency, and she has all these wonderful qualities, and she's so inspiring, and she really inspires me because of that. A lot of people would just give up and say, it's never going to happen. Why? And until it does, I don't want to step into my future. and yet she has stepped into her future, despite the fact that she has health issues, and she has a great sense of inner strength, I would have to say to her, you know. I do have a question about her because it did say, I was updating my chart and I haven't sent it to you yet, either you or Ronnie, but I will. I updated the attendance records and I updated everyone's chart when I was talking to you last time. I was doing that online with you. But Jacqueline, where is she? Is she actually, because I said she was free. Is she officially free from her situation or no?
Oh, she's the one we sent in for the 3 months computer course.
Right.
She was living somewhere and was finally given a place, and she's having some kind of difficulty with the place. And I told her, she called me yesterday crying, and I told her to move in with a friend while we look at her health first. Every other thing can come second.
Okay, so does she know, did you tell her that we raised $271 yet or no?
Not yet.
Wow.
Not yet.
You got a lot of happy stuff to talk about on Saturday. Okay, well, this is going to give her a little push forward. You know, she's going to feel good about that, knowing that there is, relief for that issue.
A big push.
All right. So then, because I didn't update that when I was reading it the other day, it said that, she was still in a situation, but I want to update that saying that she's currently, she's living with a friend. It's not the best case scenario, but she's at least she's out of that horrible situation. Is that correct?
Yeah.
All right, cool. Good. All right. Do you know how many years Florence was trafficked, or you don't?
Oh, you mean in trafficking?
Yeah.
That's within. She was taken at the age of 8, something like that. She was taken to that woman at 8, and I think about 6 years or thereabout. 15 minus 8 is going to give us the exact this thing.
Okay, so it says her mother died when she was 7. Her grandma cared for her. At age 10, she was trafficked. So it's been about 5 years.
Yeah, 4 to 5. Yeah, that's the information.
Okay, 4 to 5. Okay, got it. I just wanted to update that. 5 years. 5. Okay. Oh my goodness, this thing just won't go. I'll fix it later. This is 5. Okay. All right, that sounds good. So then we were talking about having Jacqueline because she's in that administration, the admin course, and you said that she's going to take on a position, an admin position with your organization. So I think that, I think, her taking care of the logistics to people who are donating, monthly fees for these cohort members, right? So somehow we have to coordinate that and we have to organize it and keep track of it. So I'm thinking, we're definitely going to, I think calling it a sustainability fee is good. And every month, I think it would probably be better if we decided on what day of the month all of these fees would be coming in. Like maybe it's the 15th of the month or whenever, right? And I'd look to you for that information. What is a good day of the week or of the month? And better to have that than people coming in and sending you monies, all these money throughout the month. I think, having the sustainability fees due on a certain day, people might still send them a few days in advance or whatever, but it might alleviate, money's coming in, at all different times of the month. And I think, we have to determine the fees. So $25, a month for a single person, you said was good. But then we have to do, a single person plus one child, then plus two, plus three child, and how much they need in order to sustain themselves along with their children. So we'll have to consider that amount of money, how much they will need. I don't know if it's $10 more per month per child. Do you know what I mean? So,
I think so.
Yeah, do you think? Okay. So it'd be 35, 45, 55. Okay. 35, 45, 55. Okay. So have you talked to Jacqueline about that at all?
Yeah, I just told her, we've been talking, and I called her yesterday to make sure they turn out early and also bring Faith. Mm-hmm. So I was asking if she has Faith's uncle's number, and she said she did not have. She had already told Faith that we'll be having a meeting on Saturday, and proposed that I'll go to Faith's uncle after the meeting to speak with him. Mm-hmm. So I also told her she'll be handling the role like we posted. Mm-hmm. That she'll be taking up the role in the organization. So that's going to involve other things. But I did not speak about the sponsorship because I had no idea what rules you want her to play. So I've not spoken to her yet. I tell her that on Saturday when I understand her rules or what she needs to be doing.
Yeah. I think it's sending out an email or emails to people. I mean, or somehow kind of reminders. And I think we might be able to do this through the bank, when we get in a bank account, how you can send out, I think you can send out bills or something. I'm going to talk to the bank about this, about recurring.
I'm thinking that Olivia can do that.
What?
Or sending out those things, being in charge of the sponsorship and this and that. Why Jacqueline and I can involve on other few activities on ground.
Okay.
Her competence on internet and all of that might be a challenge.
Okay. All right, I'll talk to her about that this weekend. She's coming in to visit. I am going to talk to the bank though, because there might be a way with the bank for us to just set up accounts, so to speak, and send out monthly bills, that type of thing. So let me check with them on Thursday and see what they say, and then we'll go from there afterward.
Yeah, because it sounds like a public relations job, relating with the public, liaising with the public and the organization, and giving out things like that.
Well, it's really an administrative type of job, someone in the office, administrative. It's an administrative task, that's for sure. But I want to see if maybe we can automate it instead.
Okay.
So let me talk to the bank and see about that. Because if we can automate it, that just takes care of it, because no one has to do it. It's just an accounting thing at the end of the year or so. I don't know. It's a good point. And I didn't think about it until you mentioned that maybe we can automate this in some way. So let me check on it, and then I'll get back to you. It's not anything that we need to do right away, or anything like that. But just so we can at least have some kind of direction that we're going in. All right, so tell me, I gave you the agenda and everything. I want to make sure that you're good with that. I didn't even have a chance to print it out yet, so let me just get it up on my screen. Let me see where we're at. You had a chance to look at it, though?
Yeah, I went through that, doing that.
Okay.
But I've not been able to go through the PKM tool yet. Let me look at it too on this machine.
Oh, do you mean the chart or the facilitated materials in regards to PKM?
The PKM chart, I had to go through it to study it again. I've not yet studied that.
Okay. All right. All right. So on the agenda, there really wasn't anything new from last time, except that in the share back we had noted when we spoke a couple times ago. We thought we might check in with Cynthia to see how it's going. If she had taken up, that's just to check in with her and see how she's doing, because we had done a PPCO on her. Did she try anything? What worked? What didn't? If you think you have the time or you think you'd like to do that, it's in the agenda. I just added that under the share back. I added the inspirational video again, just in case. This is not a mandatory thing. That's why it's highlighted in yellow. This is just if you feel like you might need it. If not, don't even use it. There will come a time when that video is in the can, and there'll come a time where you think you might need to show it. So, I just leave it there just as a reminder. And then I introduced, because you had asked me to talk a little bit about them feeling as though they made this huge mistake by having children instead of pursuing their education. So I added an exercise in by and just calling it the power of a mistake. I thought it might be a good idea to go over the chart with them so they can see already what they've learned in just 3 sessions, because it's very, wow. I can't believe it. As I'm going through this, I'm like, holy crap, there's this and this. Are you there still? Oh. Are you there?
Hello?
Yep, I'm here.
Yeah. We have a problem with the connection. Let me.
So, I just think that, you don't have to go through every single item on that chart. You just might want to highlight a couple of things, that type of thing. Even just showing it is extremely powerful, so that they can see that they are gaining an education. And then I use the example of Miss Bell, because they need to look at their life and their education in a little bit of a different way. They need to realize that their life experiences are their education. And the chart that I show here was literally the facilitation I had with her. And, and you can read it. So, this is how she addressed her education until she could actually get her education. She didn't dismiss the importance of getting an education. But at the same time, she realized that the reality is that she has gained an education, throughout her life. And then, of course, I wanted to share that she just got her GED. She took the test 3 times over the course of last year, and she failed it, and on the 3rd time she finally passed it. It was a really, really difficult 2018 for her. I can't even tell you. She was so disappointed. She was very depressed. She called me at one time wanting to kill herself, literally. I was on a phone with her and she wanted to commit suicide. She was suicidal. And just everything was going wrong in her life. And then to boot, she failed again. And this isn't the first time that she tried to pass the GED in her life. But so many times in the previous, she tried and she had to quit because maybe she had a child or this happened or that happened. And it got to a point where she just said, you know what, forget it. I'm never going to get it, type of thing. And then when she went into the shelter, she started realizing again the importance, and because she couldn't really get a really good job until she had an education. And that's why we started thinking about, that's what this facilitation and why this facilitation came about. Because I started telling her the skills is when you're a mother, you're also an event manager because, you're coordinating events with your children. Sometimes you're on we call it a PTA here, which is you're on a committee, right? With their school. So you work with their school on certain events and you're raising money. You do fundraising with your child. Think about it. You house clean. So you have, household management skills. You usually, a lot of times, you're budgeting the money and all the finances. Think about the skills you actually have. So there's a lot. So I just want them, this doesn't have to be a long conversation, Seraphin. I just want them to start thinking about that, that their children are their education. And, they are not a burden. They are the blessing. The children are the blessing. The burden is life. So, it's sort of like people talk about love and think love is hard. And I tell them, love is easy. Life is hard. Love should be easy. When you're in a relationship and you love someone, it should be easy. But life throws crap along the way. And life interferes into your relationship. It's life that brings those stresses and certain situations and adversities. They bring the stressors to your life, to your blessing. Love is a blessing. Children are a blessing. Life is the burden. So they just need to kind of shift their perspective on that. And let me tell you, their children are going to be extremely important in your community because those children will be raised outside of their cultural norm of being trafficked. These children are going to be raised and reared in a creative, affirmative environment. These children are a blessing. These children have purpose. These children were brought into this world for a purpose, undisclosed to us right now. But I can tell you that God had a reason. God had a purpose for each one of those children and each one of those ladies. He has a purpose. They need to look at those children as influencers within their community. These children are extremely blessed. They really, really are. And they don't even know it, but they are. So they are treasures within your community. They truly, truly are treasures within your community. And they are going to make great strides and great pathways with your community. So they need to safeguard those children. And they are a blessing, and they need to realize that they need to honor that blessing. And that life is the burden, not their children. And their children are their education right now. If they didn't have those children, then they wouldn't probably be in your grasp. We wouldn't be working with them right now. They wouldn't be learning all this. So everything has a purpose. So, just share that with them and let me know how it goes. And then basically, we're back to where we were, where we left off. You do your normal warm-up. I put in here your belief system, the trust circle, that this will be continued in session 5 because number 1, I don't want to forget about it. Number 2, you want them to know that you haven't forgotten about this important part, but that it will be continued and picked up in the next session. We're continuing on in the agenda that we didn't finish last session. Okay? We want them to know that they have not been dismissed. Okay? All right, so on the self-defense portion, remember you're just going to have them pair up in twos and you're going to do the redirection of force so they can understand how to do it and they'll be able to teach it out into their community or to their family members or to their friends or who they're living with. This would be a great exercise actually even for your church, your church members, really. You can share the 16 principles that I gave you or you can share whatever you can highlight the essence of it. You can summarize it. You don't have to go through each bulleted point if you don't want to. You can pick a couple. You can pick one and talk about it if you want. This is really however you want to handle it, okay? All right? you might say, after you do all of this, and you have to get through everything else, maybe you want to devote about 7 minutes to this. So, you do the redirection of force, you share 1 or 2 foundational principles, you keep the rest till next session, and then maybe you talk about the history or overview, maybe you don't, maybe you share the video on pressure points, maybe you don't, okay? It's whatever you think, okay? And then, of course, this is exactly the same, the rest of this with the community challenge, okay? And again, you get through wherever you get through. If you get through it all, you definitely stop where I tell you to stop. Oh, and I did make a typo here. After this, stop until session 4. I'm going to change that. Obviously, it's session 5. I forgot. I didn't catch that. And then in your home play, I just added some stuff here. Continue to dream. You talked about last time in your debrief about handing out that empowering affirmation sheet. I kept it here. I don't know if you're still going to do that. You can ask for a volunteer for an opening prayer next time. Maybe you don't. Maybe you decide to ask at the next session. This is where it can be adapted to how you, as a facilitator, facilitate and make it your own. Okay? Make this your own. Of course, the debrief, always the same debrief. That's an intangible, right? That's not a tangible. That's an intangible. That has to be done. Okay? And then the next session, well, as we say, and I said Saturday, May 25th. The next session isn't Saturday, May 25th. Gee, I was a little tired. The next session, I don't know, is June. I don't even know if you have it. June sometime. I'm just going to put a question mark, and you're going to let me know. So, yeah.
After the 25th, we can make it the second week of June and the last week, something like that.
Yeah, whatever you think, you let me know, and we'll work from there.
It's okay.
So how do you feel about the agenda? You feel okay with it, aside from the self-defense portion?
It's so good. It's so good, so direct, and I can see the way you just gone through it easily with ease, so I'm just going to take it so light. Mm-hmm. It's good. It's not...
You just go with the flow, basically.
Yeah. I'm also going to just show them a picture of Miss Bell and say, look at this woman, this, that, and you're quite younger than her, and so on.
Yeah, I wanted to get a picture of her last time I saw her, but her daughter was going through some really bad times, and it just wasn't an appropriate time. So I would have liked to have gotten a shot with her. I think, but you have a picture because I sent you one of her before, so that'll just have to do it. So, 18th outcome combined. We have the combined outcomes. All right, let me just go through this. Hold on. All right, so you got my debrief that I captured of our debrief, right? I talked about the methodologies. Oh, and I have to update, and I forgot to do this. Methodologies on session 2 sheet debrief, because I don't have them all there. That's just my note to myself, sorry. Okay, so, some of the methodologies and tools that were introduced and are taught in that session 3, your belief system, the leadership challenge, the values of resiliency and vulnerability, your belief system, the I am affirmations, creative problem solving, there's formulating solutions and the power of the PPCO. Now you've got the CPS and thinking skills, the thinking skills model charts. So when I say formulating challenges, you can go to that chart. You can look at what formulating challenges is. So you can read the little description. So you can start becoming more familiar with those things, right? So I give you that sheet with all this chicken scratch on it, right? And so, like, if you wanted to, like I say, resilient, I circle under your belief system, resiliency, and then I have sharebacks, 5-4. So you can see that if you read the sharebacks again, right, that you gave to me, you can see that there is a sense of resiliency there, right? And so on and so on. Inspire, like under the leadership challenge, I have inspire a shared vision in a square with a line. It says 418. That's our session 2, I believe. And in parentheses, I have learning outcomes. Support this practice, right? Because what's going on is you're inspiring a shared vision. So if you go in that chart again from the leadership challenge, you'll read what inspiring a shared vision means, and you'll kind of be able to put 2 and 2 together. On the leadership challenge, what I'm going to do is, and every single time I think I've got this done, I swear something else is added. And what I realized is on the leadership challenge, I need to add the 10 truths to this. And I also need to add not credibility and resiliency as values. So I always add something to this, but the leadership challenge should have the 10 truths there, and you do have them on your chart. See, so I have them on the chart, but I just don't have them here, so I've got to update that. Can you hold on for a second? Hi, Julianne.
Hi.
What's up? I'm on a conference call.
Oh, never mind. Bye.
I'll call you back when I'm done, okay?
Okay,
Bye,
bye.
love you. All right, are you there? Okay, sorry.
Oh, yeah. Thank you.
All right, and so you can read those, and so I've just captured those, and then what I do is I just, I transfer them over. I transfer from here to there, just so I have them in 2 places. As you can see, this should probably be about, the size of a wall. Because when this is done,
Wow.
this is going to be it's going to be massive. So I'm going to actually print a real large one out and update it. But, all right, so under notations and recommendations, I have, I just wanted to touch base on how was the woman, I can't remember her name, who kept laughing in the previous sessions.
Oh, Cynthia.
How is she? She's okay, or is she still laughing, or do you see any change?
We noticed she's one of the most serious, very committed, and understands the purpose of studies and so on. And she's going to be leaving the guy she's living with any of these days. She has made up her mind to leave.
That's awesome. Does she have any children? How many?
She has one kid, and she has seriously battered by the guy and so on, and thinks that is threatening to kill her, things like that. So I told her we're going to be speaking on Saturday. She's selling food.
Oh yes, that's right. Okay. She's the one we did the PPCO on. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. Okay. Please send your captured. Okay. Just a reminder to send captured observations, if any, from you and Ronnie. I didn't want to forget about how to speak to the cohort about being triggered. And so I just kept it here as a number 4, okay? I'm going to eventually bring this into session, but obviously this is gonna, you're gonna see it's kind of organically, naturally going to transpire, probably from the trust circle. Because when we start talking about the trust circle, who's in your circle, who can you trust, and who's outside of it, and why they're outside or why they're in, a lot of times this is where some triggering might appear. They don't know, they may not even realize that they're being triggered, But a lot of times this is where that conversation of triggering starts to transpire, or starts to take it starts to become unveiled, I guess I should say. So we're gonna sit in a holding pattern, and I'm gonna wait for it, because it'll happen. But I'm gonna wait for the need for it when it arises. I wanted to still remember that we're actively addressing the opportunity for an educational / literacy peer subgroup within the cohort, that it falls outside of the impact study, but we're fleshing this out. I know we haven't talked about it. I don't think we need to talk about it right now, but at some point we're going to talk about this. But right now we got enough going on. I think the good part, I think when to start talking about this might be when the library comes about as a sustainable block. It seems to fit under that sort of thing. So then Ronnie also asked about trainings on de-escalation. Again, we're going to wait for this to come out in the group, and then we'll address it. Don't forget, this is your reminder to do your debrief with your husband. As exhausted as you may be, do it. Just do it. It's literally 7 minutes. When you're walking back, or you're being transported back home, you can do it. Just do it. Okay? Let me see. 8. This is just me capturing the moment that I'm sponsoring Faith. Also about her wanting to become a teacher. These are notes that I need to remember. That Ronnie and Alex will be sponsoring Florence. I think it best to do 3-year financial sponsorships, no matter what the age. I don't care if it's a woman who's 25 or 29. Let's do 3 years of financial sponsorship. And after 3 years, we will reevaluate how to proceed. So with like the young ones like Faith and Florence, after 3 years, maybe, it's time to, maybe they still need to continue in their education. Or like I'm talking about, not college education, but, maybe they still need further education. I want the sponsorship for the little ones to carry them through their primary school, secondary school, whatever. And then at that point we'll readdress and think about college, university, and how to best proceed with that, with scholarships and who do we bring in and that sort of thing. So I just I don't think we need to figure it out yet, but I just don't want to forget about it. So that's why I captured it here under 9. Also about the medical expenses for Adela. Okay, I took care of 12. 13, session 4 is a continuation. Session 5 will introduce a trust circle. And that's it for my debrief. Do you have any questions on my debrief?
I'm going to look through that again and maybe write. If there's something I need to ask or whatever, I'm going to look at it again.
Okay. Sounds good. And so the agenda seems to be decent with you. So is there anything you need before Saturday, for Saturday?
Then Saturday, I think there's nothing different we're going to do apart from getting stuff ready, printing out those documents, and Yeah, transport. She's collecting the transport you send. I'm not taking it, so I'll take it maybe by Thursday. Get the money changed, so that I'll just distribute to them. Apart from that, I don't think there's any major thing.
Okay.
Then the website. I wonder how it looked to you.
I liked it a lot. There were minimal typos in it. Literally. I mean, I liked it a lot. I thought it flowed easy. I thought it was user friendly. I liked what he put in it. Obviously, we'll always be building, and building it, adding to it. I think I'm going to look at that probably. I'm hoping to look at that later today.
Okay.
And if I don't, I hope to look. I have to get to that later today. Thursday's going to be a day out all over. Tomorrow I have to work in my studio and get that set up for certification next week. It's a mess. So I got to work on that.
Because he was saying that we could add more pages to it.
Mm-hmm.
He just updated something on it today again about the news. It's now appearing on the first page of the site, which is good. It's not appearing like that before. Mm-hmm. So that's just something updated. And he said we could add as many pages as we can.
Mm-hmm. I like it. So I have to let me take a look at it again later today, and hopefully get that back to you by the end of day today. Any kind of notations or recommendations or typos, and again, I saw minimal grammar issues, minimal. Like it looks really good. I liked it. I really did. I thought he did a fabulous job. I really do. So, but I want to sit down with it, and I want to look at it and spend a little time. I don't want to just proof it for typos. I want to proof it and look at it for content, and layout, and flow, and how it flows. And I also want to respond as in, some possible new pages, when he has free time. Maybe we could add this or that, that sort of thing. So, I know I know already that we should put up all the executive directors, the officials, from the NGO for Mercy Seed should be up there with a bit of a background, just a paragraph form. We call it here a bio sketch, which is just a highlighting of the essence of your experience, whether it's volunteer, accumulation of your volunteer experience, your skills, your professional experiences, all of that in, a couple of paragraphs, that type of thing. And I think I've sent you my bio sketch before.
We included that. It's in the website.
Okay.
On that link.
Okay, so I just haven't seen it yet. Okay. All right, so I have to... Yeah, when it was done, I was in Buffalo. So, and I have my computer, thank goodness, but I don't have a printer, so I can't print stuff out. And sometimes I like to print it out to look at it and proof it rather than proof on screen. So, not that that's an excuse, I'm just saying. And plus in Buffalo, I was just swamped, like I usually am. But I did think I would have a little time last week to look through it, print it out, at least print it all out. And so at night, then I could just, proof it and look at it. But I didn't have a chance. So, I hope to do that tonight by end of day today and be able to do that. Because it is on my agenda along with, I want to get the Florence and the Faith. And I won't be putting those together. I'll be doing them separate. And I won't be announcing them. I might announce Faith this week and Florence next week. You know what I mean? Just to give it more, because if I announce both this week, then, what's next week type of thing. So I want to keep it at top of mind. So I'm gonna do both of them, and I'll give them to you. Did I give you Jacqueline's? Do you want them in like a PDF form or no?
I think you've just been publishing them directly.
Is that okay?
So, it's fine.
Okay. All right.
It's fine. You do the proper from there, then I share.
Yeah, I think that.
And one of the reasons thinking Jacqueline would not be able to, she's not versed with internet. She cannot run all of those things, webs and all of that. It's going to be complex for her.
Yeah. I do think that, the hair salon sustainable block is very important, but I do think the next project and we should get it going for global giving should be Mercy Seed and getting yourself up and running, with internet so that, you get paid, Jacqueline gets paid, that sort of thing. So what do we need? What does Mercy Seed Outreach need separate from the sustainable blocks? Just Mercy Seed need to sustain itself for a year. And you might have given this to me already. And if you have, then I have it. But I don't think you gave me the budget. I know you gave me things like everything that you wanted. Let me relook at that. Or why don't you relook at that, your Mercy Seed Outreach budget, and see if that is enough for 1 year. And of course you need equipment which will last longer than a year, like, a printer, a laptop and stuff like that. So those are, office equipment, but then you have, you're going to have expenses that are going to be necessary to run for the whole year, like internet. You need internet, you might need, I don't know, whatever it is. So why don't you reevaluate that whenever, not today, not this week. Get yourself situated for your cohort on Saturday. But when the next time you have some free time, maybe next week or the week after, let's start thinking about what your company, what your organization needs to run and be sustainable for a year, okay? It's just like what we did with the hair salon, but for you, for Mercy Seed Outreach. What do you need? What are the components of Mercy Seed? Because Mercy Seed isn't a sustainable block. It's actually the core, in the middle of all of the, if you think about it, with the sustainable blocks around it or wherever they are. But, Mercy Seed is the core, is the heart, right? So, you have to keep that beating. And what do you need to keep that beating? So, let's, take a look at it from that standpoint. And by the way, you're really, really good at this.
Completely the support of my husband. I cannot just do that on my own.
Well, you both as a team are really good. I mean, it is. I mean, when I looked at the hair salon sustainable block and the budget and all of that, and I asked for the revenue, and you did it, and it didn't dawn on me to tell you about the revenue being about 15 to 20% more than what you need to run. It definitely didn't dawn on me. Otherwise, I would have told you that. But the way you did it, I was like, wait a second, this has to be, you got to have a little money to carry you into the next year, That's why, and I know it's about 20% or so, and that's why I added it on. But it was so, buttoned up. It was good. It was really good. You guys have a good sense of a head on your shoulders when it comes to your finances, what you need, how much you're going to make, all of that. So between the two of you, you really partner well. I mean, it's really good. And it's easy for me to say, hey, let's have a fundraiser, and, this is our sustainable block, and look at everything we need, and it's just all there. It makes it so much easy. It makes it easier. I still have to figure that out, and the bank will be first, And after that, it's going to take me, I got to get through the next 2 weeks. And then from there, I'll be able to devote some real focused time on the fundraising on that. I got to really figure that out. Livia and I started talking about that last week, actually. And so we'll figure that out. Definitely.
Wow. Thank you.
So what else is going on?
Nothing much, but for the bad holiday we had yesterday.
What did you have?
Yeah. The holiday yesterday, you spoke on holiday. It was not really a good one. We're all indoors because of gunshots and.
That was yesterday or today as well?
That was yesterday.
Oh, what's going on over there?
It's just it has erupted into a civil war, and it started just like some kind of real crisis, and it's just exploding and exploding.
Oh my
Apart
gosh.
from that, we are all safe.
Oh,
We are safe.
well, thank goodness. I don't know how you guys all do it. But
How we stay indoors when we hear gunshots.
yeah. Better today, though. Now,
I was thinking if Rani cannot get through with Worry Me, she can use MoneyGram. And I also prefer that everything should come through you so that we wouldn't have to be dealing with many senders.
well, you're going to be dealing, that's what I'm saying. That's why I'd like everything funneled into the bank. So then all the monies can be sent out to your bank, in one transaction. Let's say I send you $100 and I'm going to send you a transaction, it's for $100, and I'm going to say this is for bam, 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 with the list. And then you're going to be able to take those monies and then you're going to be able to divvy them or distribute them accordingly. So that's why it's really important to have our banking up and running, because I don't like the idea of sending, monies, $25 here or there, fine. But, pretty soon we're going to be sending, $400, which is a lot of money in your country. And, so I'm actually thinking about how we're going to do that, so that maybe what we can do is actually just pay the doctor direct, so that you don't have to have that in your hands. I don't know, because I do worry about that. But that's why the banking is really so important, so that, we could have 1,000 people sending monies into one bank account. And then I send you one transaction, or maybe I send you one transaction a week, or twice a month, or once a month. You know what I'm saying? It'll be a lot easier. Because right now, Ronnie would have to send me money, then I have to send that money, and then you get another sponsor, and it just puts too much pressure on me, to be honest with you. I'd rather it all go into my one bank account, and then once a month say, okay, this is what I'm going to send out. That's easy for me, as opposed to, several people sending me money and then having to resend, because then you also have fees every time you send it. So if I send up to, I think it's $100, there's always a $4 fee, right? So if Ronnie sends me $25, it's with the $4 fee, then I get it. Then I have to send $4 to, I have to pay another $4. So we're getting doubled on fees, which we only should have to pay once.
Well, the system here it is not really as risky as we think. Though getting a bank account is very important for heavier transactions and for saving. But the money that's going to be used, like what I'm just taking and giving out, if that goes through, it's not best to go to a bank. But something for the hair salon or whatever, we will really need a bank account, and for reasons like global giving, donations, we cannot mount a project there without a bank account. So those are some of the reasons why we'll need the account. So if I'm picking monies for anything, I just go. People pick up to £1,000,000. They pick up to £1,000,000 from those money centers. I pick money like that, so I just put it in my bag and I'm gone home from there. So it's not really very risky. I'm just afraid of having to pick at the same spot continuously.
Yeah. Also, but also, Seraphin, you have to remember that as an NGO, you're on the up and up, and don't you have to do accounting, and like at the end of the year?
No, we do. That's why we keep all the receipts and everything what we've done. We have somebody we do checks and all of that.
Okay.
So I have receipts. Whatever money I pick, I have the receipt.
Okay.
So at the end of the year, we have to do auditing.
Yeah.
We have to audit so that there will not be some kind of mismanagement or whatever and so on. And that's why when I'm even delivering monies to those we are sponsoring, make sure accountability for that.
Okay.
My husband was proposing that we could do something like a sponsorship form.
A what form? Oh, a sponsorship form.
Yeah, a sponsorship form where when they pick whatever is given to them, they sign. All of that is good for accountability.
Yeah, have them create one of those forms.
Okay, I'm going to tell him.
Well, it's a great idea.
Yeah, this is going to go back to the sponsors too, so that they'll know their monies are not just going to the AA.
And on our end, we'll have to see if you can put that under charitable donations at the end of the year, which I think you can because you're NGO status, but I'll have to ask my tax guy that, because that too will be important for people to know that the sponsorships that they're sending out every month are also tax deductible. So I'll have to look at that stuff. Yeah, so, and tax deductible in the United States, but really, actually, I think how I'm going to do it is just have a little disclaimer saying this may or may not be tax deductible. You have to check. You check, because you get donations in from all over the world. I'm not gonna figure out whether it's tax deductible or not. So I'm going to put the ownership back on the sponsors to do that, but we do have to have a disclaimer about that, whether it's tax deductible or something. And tell your husband to just write, just include something like tax deductible disclaimer, and we'll figure out the verbiage for it that's legal. So yeah, so no, that's an excellent point. You can't think about everything that you need from here, because as you grow, then you start feeding into it, and then you start realizing what you need.
Okay. So he said, my husband said, by Saturday, when we give them the money their sponsors have sent, we're going to also hand them the form, but he has not designed the form yet.
Say that again.
So my husband said on Saturday when we are giving Florence and Faith their money, we're also going to hand them a form. Some kind of to receive something like that, just to indicate so that we can send that back to their sponsors, and that's what we've been thinking.
I think that's fine, and I think he can do something in the.
He proposed that there should be an audio, some kind of audio, or a thank you to the sponsors, anything like that. We're thinking of that.
I think he can do a form for them for this Saturday, and the form is going to be fine. However, he figures it out for the interim. Okay. And in regards to a thank you from them to the sponsors, I think that's a wonderful idea as well. Got to just figure out what the best mode of transportation, so to speak, is for that. Because while it's easy to do if you got a few sponsors, you got a few people that you're helping, it's easy, right? But, the grander picture is that, we're going to have, thousands of sponsors for a multitude of reasons, whether it's toward a sustainable block, toward Mercy Seed, toward medical expenses for a child or for a cohort member, or sponsor the sustainability fee to get someone from free. There's a lot of different things that these sponsors will be paying toward. So, how do you thank someone? And do you thank them every month, or do you thank, you know what I'm saying? Or, I know that, you go online and you see, sponsor this child's education from this third world country, and you'll get a picture and a letter from them. And, that's great and everything, but I don't know. To be honest, like, I was talking to Olivia about the sustainable block of the hair salon. And she was playing devil's advocate with me, right? So she was basically, throwing down, any idea I had, which is good. I like when she does that, But she was basically saying, in a nutshell, well, if I donate $25 to this hair salon, what do I get in return? And I said, people who think like that, I don't want. I don't want someone who wants to give me money with an expectation of a return. I want someone to say, here's some money because I just want to feel good about helping someone become free, or helping someone to get a vocation so that they can be financially independent and take care of their children, or because I know I'm helping a community in need. It's this sense of purpose and paying it forward. These are the people I was saying this to Olivia, these are the people we want. And that's why I said I'm targeting, because she said, well, why do we have to target just hair salons, hair care product? Why not just target everyone? And I said, because it dilutes it. I said, because when it comes to the library, we're going to look at libraries, because people who are hairstylists, people who sell hair care product, people who are manicurists, they do that because they have a passion for it. They love what they do. And to think that they're going to help someone else become someone like them, that's what we're getting at. That's why I say I only want and she's like, well, why only $1? And I said, because everybody can hand over $1. She says, well, what if someone wants to give 100? I said, then we'll take it. But, basically we want people who are passionate about their vocation to help us in our one particular sustainable block. And I said, I don't know if that's going to work, but I feel like we need to do it this way. We need to do it we don't want people who are going to be like, well, what do I get in return? And I said, because if let's say they give $100, or let's say they gave $1, I don't care. They can promote themselves. They can put it on their website and say, hey, I supported, Mercy Seed's sustainable block of hair care product, whatever. They can promote that any way they want. I don't care, but we're not going to do it. Could you imagine if we had to publicly thank every single person who gave to one of our sustainable blocks? What are they going to get in return? Thousands of people? You know what? They're just going to get in return that they've helped, that they've paid it forward, that they have bridged someone to their freedom. You know, these are basic universal values of humanity. And that's what we need to get back at. We're not going to say, hey, if you give us $1,000, we will do PR for you. We will put you on our website. No, we don't want people like that. However, I said to her, I said, you know what? If a company came forward and said, you know what? I want to sponsor the whole kit and caboodle. I want to give you $25,000 so that you are sustainable for at least 3 years. We might then say, we've got it, great, yes, we will thank you, because we're thanking one person. Let's move on to the next sustainable block, right? So, we really have to think about, how you go on a job interview, I always say, and we'll forget about that, but I always say that whatever you do in life, it has to be mutually beneficial for both. Based on certain, and I always say, if you don't know who you are, you don't know what you need. If you know who you are, you know what you need, you can then get the job that is appropriate for you. You can then go and have a healthy relationship. So here we are asking for money. We want it to be mutually beneficial. So we are modeling the behavior, modeling the principles that we live by. When we are asking for donations, we're not asking for donations from anybody. We're asking for donations from like-minded, purposeful, life-filled people. And I don't know, but I think that's the way to go. Because, we always have to remember our roots and where we are and how we started.
What you're saying is exactly correct. The way you answered Olivia was perfectly correct, and I like her critical questions. She's just asking what the world will ask us, so we should be prepared to answer them. That's what they're definitely going to ask us. She's taking their place to ask us those questions. Like you said, there's nothing we're going to gain, because I tell my core, we are seated here just because we have purpose and vision, and it's some kind of calling. We don't gain anything in this. If I'm sponsoring you, you are not my sister, you're not my brother, you're nobody. If someone over there is sponsoring you, this is just done because we feel that something should be done to humanity. And if there's something I'm pulling out of this, I'm just going to get the joy of helping someone. That's just all. I tell them, you should also think of, modeling what we are doing, trying to extend this very hand to some other person. When we do this to you, we're building and raising you to do it to some other person. And we help you or stop you and your children from being trafficked. You should also grow up to stop others from being trafficked. It's a chain of help. So that's just something we are going to give. Apart from the joy and the fulfillment that I'm dying fulfilled, I die a happy person, I die having helped humanity. I'm not just going to die empty. So we really should not think of the gain, and we should look for like-minded people who will not say we should do this, I do this in return of this, because there's no return. When I get here every Saturday, talk to the cohort, they call me, and at the end of it, you feel that you're stressed. But then this is what I'm born to do. This is what we are called to do.
I was listening to Steve Furtick and a sermon that he had yesterday on my way home driving, and there were a couple. I listened to 2 sermons. One was so on point with my life and everything that's going on, and then the other one was, it was interesting because he said, everyone thinks that everyone goes to Jesus and because they want to make their life easier and they want Jesus to give them comfort. He said, and they think that the devil gives them conflict. He said, but it's the other way around. The devil gives you comfort and Jesus gives you conflict, because in conflict you grow. In comfort, you're stagnant. And the devil loves people who are comfortable doing nothing. And it was interesting because I was like, yeah, you know, and he went on and on and on. But, you know, in a nutshell, that was his message. And it was so on point for me because so many people think all the adversity in life is from evil. And, you know, some of it is, of course. But, you know, and I'm not saying that God brings evil to the world, but I mean, you know, everything isn't from one extreme to the other, you know. You kind of have to, you know, manage it and balance it, I should say. But, you know, when there's conflict in your life, it's probably God nudging you to get out of your comfort zone because he has a greater purpose for you. And you need to push forward and you need to push beyond. And if you're feeling as though you're a little uncomfortable, he said, that's probably good. You know, you gotta look at the situation. Of course, we're not talking about if you're being battered, you know, you're being hit and abused. God doesn't want you to be hit and abused, you know. But, you know, everything is in balance. But anyway, I thought that was interesting, wasn't it? You know?
It's really, I'm writing something from there, the devil loves people who are comfortable doing nothing. Mm-hmm. That's just true because when I engaged in this work and started doing something and working with God, I realized that my life was no longer comfortable. Mm-hmm. This morning, I had to call Jacqueline. I'm solving a problem. I'm topping up my credit to make some long calls to encourage, to say, you see, you can come out of that. You are strong enough. Think of the positive words and so on, the affirmative words we've been sharing. And sometimes I tell my husband, but it's kind of burdensome. Somebody calls you at night, this is happening, that is happening, and you have to speak something and they drop a message. I'm always so relieved, I'm always so happy when I speak with you. That's the fulfillment of it. Mm-hmm. Because in all of these, none of them are from my village, from my community, from my place of birth. But I am touching them the way I can. Mm-hmm. And I'm happy. Mm-hmm. I'm happy. So I'm beginning to understand that some of these things will come with discomfort. Mm-hmm. The work is going to have a lot of discomfort here and there. Sometimes they're calling you to give when you don't even have. Mm-hmm. And you need to pay. Mm-hmm. If I could have that message too, it's good. It will be good.
I'll send it to you. Yeah, I know, because sometimes it's like, you know, life is hard, you know, it's just like what you said. Sometimes you just want to relax, and you do. It's not like you always have to be in conflict or uncomfortable. You do need to have those. You have to balance it, but you also have to realize that if your work is making you not uncomfortable, or you're always available, you know, you're usually doing purposeful work. At the end of the day, have you done God's work, you know, or have you done your own work? You know what I mean? You know, and again, you got to balance that. You know, you have to go and self-care, because you have to, you know, people like you and I who work and do what we do, it can be too much. So you do have to remove yourself from it from time to time and regroup and regenerate, you know?
That's right. And I'm developing a thick skin. Mm-hmm. I'm developing some kind of resistance. I don't just get moved. I don't just get so weak because you called and gave me some kind of story. I said, be strong. You need to be strong. I've been there too. Mm-hmm. So I'm happy that I'm gaining some resilience, working with a group. They don't just clear me off at any time. Mm-hmm. And I'm growing leadership. Mm-hmm. I don't get scared. I don't get afraid of when somebody calls, something bad is happening. I'm striking a balance. Mm-hmm. And I can tell you, I can't speak with you now. Let's meet on Saturday. Mm-hmm. Let's meet Saturday, and that's done. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. You always have to have that balance. Yeah, it was definitely an interesting sermon. I mean, he talked about fear and dysfunction and all kinds of stuff. It's always a good sermon with him, you know. I always have a takeaway from it.
Yeah, yeah. The guy is good. I've started following him from the day you sent that message. My husband listened to it and is following him too.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, he's good. I like him. I haven't listened to a sermon in quite a while. I've been looking at my Krav Maga videos in preparation, and there's so many of them, hours and hours and hours and hours of them, in preparation for next week. So I've decided, and I wish I could remember how he said this in the first video, but I'll send you the first video as well. But he basically said, are you following? Are you doing what you're doing because you're being told, and because you're looking for an affirmation from a person, another person, and you want them to like you or support you? Because the only person you need to care about who is happy with what you're doing is God. You know? And so, you know, something about, you know, your purpose should be God-filled, not society-filled. It should be God-driven, not society-driven. You know? So, you know, like with this certification, you know, my instructor, he wants me to grade up, 2 grades up. You know, I'm almost ranked at a 7. Like, I'm almost there. So he figures I'm almost there, I might as well grade to the next as well, right? And in order to do that, I have to, you know, train the whole 5 days plus instruct. And, you know, so I've been killing myself with all of these videos, trying to remember, writing notes, and I'm like, you know, all these things. And when I heard his sermon last night, I was like, wait a second, who am I proving myself to? Him? Myself? Or God? You know, the purpose, I know that there's purpose in ranking up so that I can certify other people in this world. And there will be people that will find purpose in self-defense and teaching others. This I know. But I'm like, I'm going crazy. And he's talking, he's saying, you're killing yourself probably to do, you know, to make someone else happy or to, you know, and I'm like, I'm killing myself. Yes, I am. You know, and I'm like, you know what? I'm done. Because I'm gonna rank up that little rank up that I need. I need like literally like 20 points the way he's got it all figured out. It's like this much more to get to that next rank. That's what I'm gonna work on next week. And then that other rank.
So you're not gonna die a fair game.
Yeah. So I said, you know what? I'm gonna work on the next rank 8, throughout this whole year. And I'm going to do it right. And I'm going to learn how to instruct and really delve into my discipline and work with my instructor throughout the course of a year. And not because I need to prove it to myself or prove it to him, but because God has placed this purpose in my life. He has placed this in my life for a reason, and I need to do well by it. So I need to separate them. And that's what I'm going to do. And I haven't told him yet, my instructor. He may or may not be happy, but it doesn't matter, because what matters is that I rank up, you know, in the right way and according to my purpose. And so, yeah. So his first session, it felt like he was talking to me. I'll send you both of his sermons and see what you get out of it. But, you know, sometimes, you know, it's amazing how, like, I haven't listened to one of his sermons in weeks. And then yesterday I just felt that tug, that nudge, like, you need to listen to a couple of sermons. And it was wonderful, you know. So I'll send them to you. But
easy to get to know that you need to relax. You're not working for anybody. You're not proving any point to anybody.
Mm-hmm.
When you come to that level, I think you've gained some level of freedom.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So.
You need to get there and get to free too.
Mm-hmm. All right. Are you all good for today?
So very good. So good to go.
It was so good to see you. It's always nice to talk to you and see you.
Yeah, you're really a model. You're a role model. I saw your mom speak today, and she looks so strong.
Oh, she's amazing.
I saw the source of your energy.
Oh my gosh, I can't keep up. I cannot keep up. She's always had a zest for living. You know?
Oh, I'm doing.
Mm-hmm.
All bended over, not looking sick, not looking weak, and I could just link her or your style to her.
And you know, she had breast cancer 3 times. And, overcame it. Yeah, 3 times in her life. Yeah. She's amazing.
She got over that.
Pardon me?
And she got over it. She overcame it.
Yeah.
Wow, that's great.
Yeah. So she's doing good. I mean, she has a few little issues, you know. She is 79, you know, and she was a smoker all her life. So she has COPD, a little bit of it. So it kind of, you know, she has to watch herself. But your phone battery level is low, it said. I just got a thing. Okay.
Yeah, I saw it.
I guess that sometimes I guess that's God's way of interrupting us to say, okay, enough, go and do.
Yeah. It's okay. It's okay. But she's super good. I made a comment to that picture at 79. Here when you see people at 70, they are just so down.
Oh.
Also, a lot of them stress, difficulties, and so on.
Not my mama. She's
Not your mom.
she's going.
Wow, thanks to God.
Mhm.
Well, because of the battery, we will need to go.
Yep.
Let me look at that if I can get that adjusted. I don't know why it's not charging.
That's okay. We've been talking for about almost 2 hours, so it's been a long time. Well, an hour and a half. I've got the videos. I'll upload this for you. I like to keep track of everything and in what we talk about, in case I miss something. Because when we just have a chat like this, I took notes, but a lot of times I just like to talk and listen. So then I can go back to my video and then take more, specific notes on things that I need to do. But, all right. Well, then you have a good rest of the week. Let me know if I haven't gotten anything. Hold on. Let me see. Nope. I haven't. Oh, wait a second. Let me just look at my text from, I got one that says, we're sorry. Another one that says, your money is ready to be collected. So let me know if you have any problems with the money, because I got word that it was sent. Okay? And I'll tell Ronnie too.
Okay.
So what time are you meeting on Saturday? Just so I know. 11 a.m. still?
On Saturday, yeah, we're going to meet at 11 a.m.
Okay, so that's 6 a.m. my time. Okay. All right, good luck.
Thank you so much. It's always speaking with you.
I love speaking with you too. So be safe, you guys, and have a good rest of the week. And if you need anything before Saturday, you let me know.
It's Okay. Okay. Thank you so very much for your time.
Alrighty. Bye-bye.
Bye bye.